Thank you so much. I'm used to working in top secret facilities and also didn't scare me getting in the badge and everything today, but what a pleasure to come and be invited. I am a survivor. They say a good landing is when you can walk away from. A really great landing is when you can use the airplane again. I did not do either of those things. I want you to know that what you are looking at here today is the luckiest person that you will ever see at this podium, ever. And at the end of today's presentation, I think you will agree with me on that. Now, I will admit to you, I did not feel like the luckiest guy on earth when my aircraft was going down. I couldn't get out. It was a horrendous morning. Everything was going wrong. And I was about to impact the jungle, and I realized I was about to die in a matter of seconds. It was a very sobering thought. I clenched my eyes tightly and clenched my fist. I figured it'll all be over in a heartbeat. I'll wake up in heaven painlessly. It'll be over. Next thing I remember was a great deal of fire and smoke and heat and flames all around me. And I thought, well, maybe I didn't go the way I thought I would. Quickly realizing I was still alive, I got out of the airplane and collapsed in the jungle. I was severely burned. I was numb. I was not in any great pain. I just realized I couldn't use my hands. I was just really badly burned. And I laid there, and if you want heroes in my story, it is the Special Forces people that came and got me there, and it got me back to Thailand, and they said, well, he's not going to make the trip across the Pacific. Send him to Okinawa, send him to Kadena, he'll die, put his body in a box, ship it home. And that's the harsh reality of that war. Well, they shipped a team of 9 people from Fort Sam Houston, Texas, burn center, all the way to Okinawa just for me. And their mission in life was see if you could save the young lieutenant. Bad thing happened to me in those 2 months of intensive care. The numbness wore off. I'd like to tell you all about how courageous, brave, and heroic I was going through all that treatment and tough. It'd be a big fat lie. I'm an inspirational speaker today. I go all over the world, and it pains me to tell you that I wanted to give up and that it was just so beyond what I could deal with that I pray at night, please God, if you have the wrong guy, let me just die and it would be easier. And it's hard for me to even believe I did that. And I used to lay there thinking of all the bad things I'd ever done in my entire life. That took a week. All right, 2 weeks. And it still didn't add up, and I couldn't cope, and my body was wasting away. I was in such incredible shape when I went down. I was physically fit. I was 180 pounds of just muscle and steel, well, as you see today. And my body went down to 119. 119, and it wasn't receiving food. It just said, we can't eat, it's just failing. And they said, you know, your body saved you, and now you have to build it back, and you have to get food. And I said, it's not. I can't put food down. It's just not working. They said, if you lose another pound, we can't save you. And I didn't care at that point. I said, well, okay, then I guess I'm just going to have to die after all this incredible pain for 2 months. And there has to be a turning point to every story, of course. Mine was kind of a silly thing, except it wasn't silly to me. And I will share it with you today. And I was laying there one afternoon. I could see out the 3rd floor window the soccer field, the end of the runway at Kadena, the road there, and I could hear the kids playing soccer every afternoon, laughing and playing and kicking the ball. It was April. And I thought, boy, I was those kids. I'd give anything to be back out there with them. And that made me sad. And at that moment, Judy Garland came on the radio singing Somewhere Over the Rainbow. How many of you know the words to that song? Anybody here? No, you don't. Put your hands down. You think you know the words to that song. I thought I did, from The Wizard of Oz, Yellow Brick Road. No. That is a very deep, philosophical, adult song. You listen to the words to that song. It's all about daring to dream. It's about dreams really coming true. I heard the words of that song for the first time that day. They penetrated my brain sharper than any scalpel they were using. And I could look out the window and see the other side of the rainbow and those kids. And I made a choice, made a decision right then. I am going to try to eat the food tomorrow. I want to live now. I'm going to try to survive. I'll never fly again. I'll never do anything. I'll probably lose a couple fingers, and I probably won't walk right again. It doesn't matter. I am going to change my attitude, and then tomorrow I'm going to start trying to heal. And isn't it amazing how the simplest change of attitude in life can affect the whole rest of your life? That one choice. The next day they came in. They had the food. They could see a different look on my face. They could see fire in my eyes, which is probably a bad pun at this point. And they were excited, and I tried to eat, and it wouldn't go down. My body rejected it, and I could not eat. They're beside themselves. They could see I was trying, and I'm saying, no, God, please, just forget everything I just said after 2 months. I want to eat now. Let it go down. Nothing. Finally, some Army Corpsman had a sack lunch. His wife had packed him. He said, this didn't come from the hospital. It's different. Maybe there's something in here he could eat. Anything. It was nothing. Except a little plastic container of cherry Kool-Aid. And the cherry Kool-Aid went down real good. They ran to the commissary and got every pack of cherry Kool-Aid they could find. I drank 3.2 gallons of cherry Kool-Aid the first day. Ladies and gentlemen, I lived on cherry Kool-Aid for 4 straight days, drinking an average of 5 gallons a day. And I peed real good. And they said that's even a better sign. His body's functioning normally internally. He doesn't need anything internally. He's just got to build his body back. Eventually some saltine crackers, some bread. Next thing you know, I'm on a plane back to the States. I spent a whole year in the hospital. And they did all kinds of surgery. And they said, well, I guess we won't got those fingers off. Maybe we could save them. You'll never fly again, though. Keep that in mind. You'd be lucky to just be alive. Well, back then, the deep recesses of my brain, I needed to think I could still fly again, to go through all the therapy. I had to have a goal. I realized the power in the mind was far greater than the failing muscles of your body. You lay on your back for a year, you will learn what's important in life, and you will have no fear because you're not going to miss another moment of it. So when I returned, I had 2 major concepts in my brain that I will share with you today. One, life is short and it's uncertain. It's not one or the other, it's both. And because it is, you can't possibly miss the gift that each day is. Number 2, pursue your passion now. Do it now. Do the thing in life you love, whether it's family, work, job, hobby, whatever it is. Don't wait because of rule number 1. Armed with this very simplistic bit of knowledge, I went back in the Air Force and I felt like I was a 2-year-old. I was born again. I was like starting over. I'd had a whole year in the hospital, and it was like I was fearless and I wasn't going to miss anything. And I was like 2. Now, it makes the Air Force very nervous to have 2-year-olds flying their jets. They either loved me or hated me. I was an enigma. It was like, this is the greatest guy we had in the squadron. He'll try anything. He'll volunteer. He's fearless, and he's got a great attitude. Or he is a loose cannon. We don't know what he's going to do next. I got back to flying, and I became a big story in the Air Force, which I didn't want. Fame and being in a magazine, that wasn't comfortable. People then all thought they knew you, and they're all looking at you funny and like, well, so what does the scar tissue feel like? You know, it's like, I just want to do my job. And I did my job very well. And I was teaching at Top Gun, and one day I said, I'd like to fly the world's fastest jet, SR-71. It's the only thing left I haven't done, and then I can retire. And they said, whoa, all the no people came running out of the woodwork. You have to take an astronaut physical to fly that airplane because you're flying at 90,000 feet. That means if you flunk any part of that very difficult 2-day physical, you will never fly again, and that's why people are afraid to go try out for that program. There's that word, afraid. Well, I was 12. I was a 12-year-old by the time I got to this program. Have you ever known a 12-year-old? It was when you said, hey, maybe you shouldn't do that skateboard on the car. That said, yeah, boy, that's pretty dangerous. I don't think it will. They're already doing it. I said, but what if I passed the physical and could actually fly that airplane? We would have missed it. And again, being surrounded by adults, they didn't get it. I scored the 6th highest score at Travis on their astronaut physical they had ever had. I was motivated. And internally, my body really was very strong. And they said, wow, you look like hell on the outside, but you're still strong. It's like, then they were worried about scar tissue. Let me just tell you about scar tissue. It's like leather. It's okay. It just, you stretch it. It's actually tougher than skin. It's actually fine to fly with. You have to keep stretching and everything. So the Air Force was like so afraid. Then they said, well, you're wearing a space suit when you fly. And good God, we got to be breathing 100% oxygen all the time, and that could, mess up your scar tissue. Yeah, they just didn't get it. And I said, I went into surgery 15 times, and they were giving me 100% oxygen every time, so I pretty much think it'll be okay. What I learned in life as a 12-year-old in an adult world was that we become fearful. We become we lose our dream. We lose our passion. I was exactly the opposite. It didn't please everyone around me. And those that it did, love you for life and say, thank you for reminding me what a gift each day is that isn't guaranteed. Don't miss the moment. Enjoy every day.